These are the plaintiffs, Andrea Raggio and Jacquies. Andrea says she and Jackie rented a two-bedroom apartment from the defendant, and the place had bedbugs. Yuck! They alerted the defendant. She didn't do much to eradicate the problem, and they started waking up in the morning with bites all over their bodies. They gave notice. They moved out. Now the defendant's being a real jerk because she won't return their security deposit. Some people. They're suing for $1,900, the amount they're due. This is the defendant, Andrea. She says the plaintiffs moved out early, broke their lease, and she has every right to keep their money. As far as the bed bugs go, they mentioned they saw a bug one time in the apartment, and now they're trying to use that as their excuse for breaking their lease? Bottom line, she has to stand her ground because she can't let a tenant call the shots and expect their security back when they break an agreement. She's accused of bugging out on her tenants.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiffs rented from the defendant. The place had bed bugs, and now the landlord won't return their security. The defendant says the plaintiff saw one bed bug, so come on. It's the case of don't let the bed bugs bite, please.
Thank you, Douglas. Andrea Raggio.
Hi.
And Jacquies.
Yeah.
Is that your real name?
It's real.
That's such a stage name. It's so great. You're suing Andrea, who was your landlord, for your $1,800 security deposit plus another $100 that you had paid towards a future security and lease, which you ended up changing your mind about. Tell me what happened here.
So we had a year lease that was month to month, and
Wait, I'm sorry. What is? It's either a year's lease or it's month to month.
We had the agreement of like a year
A
lease,
year.
but it was
Okay.
like a month to. It was month to month, so we would let her know at the.
Can I see the lease? Because what you're saying are two very contradictory things, and you just started to talk. So let me see the lease.
That's
and
true,
we'll-
here.
Okay. So this ends January 31st. You guys signed a one-year lease that would have ended January 31st of 2019. Everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Sometime in December, you contact them because your protocol is to try to find out if your tenants are re-renting or not.
That's right.
And you gave them a deadline for responding of December 31st.
Right.
And you guys originally thought you would do it,
Yeah.
right? And you told her that. Did you sign a lease?
No.
Did they sign a new lease?
They did not sign a new lease. I
Okay.
just have the
So you
confirmation
agreed
in
to
writing. stay,
stay, and then what happened? In fact, that's why in January, along with the rent, you added another $100.
Right.
Because you were going to stay. What made you change your minds?
We had been dealing with bed bugs for the whole year, trying to like remedy them. It was torture, but we couldn't really afford
How
to
were you
move.
remedying them?
Well, we had asked for exterminators. We got a couple different ones. Sometimes they wouldn't show. Sometimes they would come and just kind of spray the room. Sometimes she would show up with diatomaceous earth, or like have us buy some and just say like sprinkle it around the corners or whatever.
Why did you want to stay anyway then?
Because
We couldn't afford to
we couldn't afford to move, really, and we were really set. We loved the home. We moved in. There was no furniture or anything. We like started from scratch with everything, and we wanted to make it our home.
Were you able to control the bed bugs? It would surface, it'd be a problem, and then you were able to control it?
Right. Yeah. It was
So
it
you
was
were
like
hopeful.
that. Yeah, we were hopeful. Like,
And then what
holding it.
happened?
And then it was just like
Return of the bed bugs?
Jackie put in $100. I hadn't yet, but it was like this intention of like, we're gonna try and make this work. And then Jackie woke up.
And because the new lease was going to be month to month too, we were like, let's just buy some more time.
The new lease was not going to be month to month. I don't know why you guys keep saying that. The new lease was going to be a new lease for a one-year period. That's what she does. That's how she rolls. But what ends up happening here is then you get bit by the bed bugs when?
Like January 1st.
And
That
that's
felt like a sign to
Yeah.
leave.
to move on. So you let her know that when? What day?
That day that we.
January 1st?
Yeah.
Do you text her?
Yeah, text.
Do you deny that they told you on January 1st, listen, we've changed our minds?
Yes.
When do you say they told you?
One of them told me on the 2nd, and the other one told me on the 3rd.
Okay. So on the 2nd, what is it which one told you on the 2nd?
I believe it was Jackie told me on
Okay.
the 2nd,
And so-
Andrea on the 3rd.
Okay, but pretty much Jackie's telling you on the 2nd. All right. So have you re-rented the place?
Yes,
Okay, and when did you re-rent the place?
immediately.
Immediately. So you are
Well,
out.
actually, I'm sorry, we're not immediately, like within a day or two, but in time for me to rent
For the
it
next month?
Yes.
All right, so you're not out anything, but you don't want to return their security deposit as a matter of principle because they changed their minds on you.
Exactly. What happens in this kind of situation, from my perspective, I have a really good reputation of being a good landlord. So I'm not someone that's just out to take advantage of people. So when I saw that they were going back and forth, and at first, as a matter of fact, Andrea said she wanted to stay. On the 2nd, she indicated she wanted to stay. Then on the 3rd, she came back and said she didn't. So I said, listen, guys, you've broken one of the only rules that I have, which is to allow a full, month's notice from beginning to end. I said, normally you would forfeit your security. I said, but I'm willing to give you half of it back as just sort of a compromise, me being nice. Well, they took this under consideration and decided that they wanted to make up some terms of their own. They decided that wasn't adequate and that they would, I guess, sort of do me a favor and allow me some money for damages and
For what damages? For changing their minds?
No, there was some damage to the floor and some other damages which I was even willing not to claim. But once they took it upon themselves to call themselves deciding how this should be handled, then my thing was all bets off. I will stand on principle.
Except for that your principles are misplaced. Because you are legally incorrect.
Okay.
And let me explain why. They have a lease, and their lease takes them until January 31st.
Right?
They have a verbal agreement with you, which is evidenced by the $100 that one of them paid. There's no question, and they admit it anyway, that they're going to renew that lease for a year. But you don't have that until they sign it legally, because you cannot verbally agree to a year lease. It has to be in writing.
Well, it wasn't
So what
writing.
you have then would be an agreement to enter into a year lease that is retracted on January 2nd, which is 28 days notice.
May I speak?
May you listen first?
Absolutely.
The 28 days notice is an issue for you because you feel like you're entitled to 30. You live in New York City. Brooklyn is part of the city. There is no requirement for 30 days notice in New York City if they were on a month-to-month. If they'd stayed several months and were on a month-to-month, there would be no requirement. There is less of a requirement for 30 days when they're just the natural expiration of their lease. Now let me hear what you have to say to that.
Thank you.
So if you saw one bed bug, would you complain or are you out of there?
I would complain.
You wouldn't leave.
Yeah, I want to leave.
What do you say?
I'm leaving. If there's one bed bug, there's more than one bed bug.
Yeah, but would you give the landlord a chance to solve it, or is this something that never gets solved?
It's probably something that never gets solved. Most landlords suck, so.
Wow. Bitter, going inside the courtroom.
What I have to say to that is it was in writing in the lease, which they accepted in writing by text. So I accept the text as an in writing agreement.
No, it's not. The law requires any agreement for a rental that's to be in writing if it's more than the month-to-month, which the law just acknowledges de facto, verbally or otherwise, because people just stick around. Sure. If it's a year lease, it must be in writing. That's the rule. So they are owed the $1,800 plus the extra $100. But aside from that, let me explain another reason why you can't keep their money. Mm-hmm. Because the law's about putting people in the position they were in before the bad thing happened. The law is not about making it a bonanza for people. So If you were able to, and that is exactly why New York City feels like landlords need no notice, because you can rent it out just like that, you know, and you're never out anything because it's New York City, and people are like this, just waiting to rent. So if you're actually out zero, then that's another reason why you can't keep the security deposit. All right, now you had mentioned that there was some damage which you guys had acknowledged. Do you have pictures of the damage?
Yes.
Is this what we're talking about, this corner here?
Yes.
Okay, what happened there? Was there a plant?
Yeah, there was a plant.
Yeah, you can't, you have to have something to catch the water. You can't just do.
But the hole that's there was there when we moved in.
Yeah.
But nobody.
I have another picture.
Nobody has pictures of it when we moved in.
Yeah.
Except for that you acknowledge that was done by your plant.
Well, there was a plant.
No,
there.
the hole was there.
The hole was there.
Yeah.
But the
I
water
have
damage.
pictures of the rest of the floor with
Is
like.
this the rest of the floor?
Yeah. Just the general floor.
All right, so now the damage, how are you going to show me estimates about what the damage is? I mean, this is not a new floor. So what are you valuing that as, and how are you going to prove to me the value?
Yeah, clearly I cannot technically prove to you the value, but I guessed what it was, and I consulted my floor man.
And?
And he confirmed that it would be about $475.
Do you have that in writing from him?
No, I do not.
Okay. I'm going to allow $200 for the water damage. So rather than the entire $1,900, I'm going to order the defendant to pay the plaintiffs $1,700. Good luck, folks.
So the defendant is going to have to give back money from the security deposit. $1,700 goes back to them. I think you've learned something about legal issues the landlord should know about in this case, right?
Yes, I'm a little bit disappointed because she did not accept a text in one case, but she accepted a text in another case. So.
Yeah, you can't do that. You got to have a legally signed document on paper. Sign it.
Well, but being consistent on both ends would be appreciated.
One other thing. Do you think there could still be a bedbug problem in that apartment?
No.
You're sure?
Positive.
Because
someone is there now and there's no problem.
They haven't said anything yet.
No.
Let's hope they don't. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. All righty. Here come the plaintiffs now. All right, you're going to get money back.
We
You okay
are.
with that? Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're in a new place now? No bedbug problems?
No bedbug problems.
That's tough to deal with, isn't it?
It's psychological torment, I would call it. Yeah.
It's a good way to put it. Psychological trauma. Well, congratulations. Good luck to
Thank you so
okay?
much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. All right. Harvey?
Doug, there's something in the law called the warranty of habitability. It applies in all leases, whether it's written or not. And it means that you have a right to a healthy and safe place to live.